Nobody is broke because they're lazy. They're broke because they're playing a game they were never taught the rules of. This video isn't about motivation. It's about the system that decides who stays rich and who stays busy. Nobody tells you this, but the world you are living in was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you busy, distracted, and just comfortable enough to never ask the right questions. Most people think the reason they are struggling with money is because they didn't work hard enough, didn't study enough, or didn't make the right choices. That belief feels logical, it feels fair, but it's also the biggest lie of modern money. Look around, people are more educated than ever. They work longer hours than previous generations. They have access to more tools, more technology, more information. And yet, for most people, money feels tighter every year. Salaries rise, but stress rises faster. Prices go up, but freedom goes down. If effort was the answer, this wouldn't be happening. So the real question isn't why some people fail. The real question is why the system produces so many exhausted, anxious, financially trapped people by default. From the moment you are born, the system teaches you a simple formula. Go to school, follow rules, get good grades, get a job, work hard, save money, retire someday. This path sounds safe, responsible, and intelligent, and for decades, it worked well enough. But the system quietly changed while the advice stayed the same. That's where the trap begins. Today, money doesn't flow to effort. It flows to leverage, it flows to ownership. It flows to systems, not sweat. Most people trade time for money, but time is the only resource that can never scale. You can work harder, but there are still only 24 hours in a day. Meanwhile, the system rewards people who own assets, platforms, and attention. They make money while sleeping, while traveling, while doing nothing visible at all. To someone inside the system, this looks unfair. To the system, it's perfectly logical. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The system doesn't care if you are smart. It doesn't care if you are honest. It doesn't care if you work late nights. The system only cares about position. Where you stand matters more than how hard you try. If you are positioned as a worker, you will always be capped. If you are positioned as an owner, your upside is unlimited. This is not motivation. This is structure. Think about how money actually moves. Banks don't get rich by saving money. Corporations don't get rich by working overtime. Investors don't get rich by budgeting better. They get rich by controlling flow. They borrow cheap money, deploy it at scale, and let systems multiply it. Meanwhile, the average person is taught to fear debt, avoid risk, and slowly save money that loses value every year due to inflation. That advice keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. Inflation is one of the most invisible weapons in this system. When prices rise quietly every year, your savings shrink in real value even if the number in your bank account grows. You feel responsible because you saved, but the system silently taxes you without asking permission. Meanwhile, asset owners benefit because prices of assets rise with inflation. The same force that hurts savers rewards owners. That's not accidental. That's design. Another illusion the system sells is stability. A job feels stable because the paycheck is predictable, but predictable doesn't mean secure. When your income depends on one source, one employer, one role, your risk is concentrated. One decision you didn't make can change everything. The system encourages specialization without ownership. It wants you excellent at your role, but replaceable, efficient, but dependent. Most people never notice this because they are too busy surviving. Bills arrive every month without pause. Rent doesn't care about your dreams. Responsibilities stack up. By the time someone starts questioning the system, they are already deep inside it. And the deeper you go, the harder it feels to step out. This is why people defend the system even when it's hurting them. Accepting the truth would mean admitting years of effort were misdirected. Education plays a strange role here. Schools teach obedience, not leverage. They train you to follow instructions, meet deadlines, and avoid mistakes. These are useful skills, but they don't teach you how money actually works. No one explains cash flow. No one explains asset ownership. No one explains how the game is structured. You are trained to be a good participant, not a strategic player. Media reinforces this confusion. Success stories focus on luck, talent, or extreme hustle. Failure stories focus on laziness or bad choices. Rarely does anyone explain systems, incentives, and structural advantage. That knowledge stays quiet because once you see it, you stop blaming yourself. And a system built on self-blame doesn't want self-awareness spreading too fast. The result is a population that feels constantly behind. You work harder, but the gap grows. You save more, but freedom feels further away. You feel guilty for wanting more, even though the system is designed to extract as much of your time and energy as possible. This emotional pressure keeps people compliant. Tired people don't rebel. Confused people don't organize. Hopeful people keep waiting. But here's the shift that changes everything. Once you understand that the system isn't broken, you stop trying to fix yourself. You stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "How does this actually work?" That question alone puts you ahead of most people. Awareness doesn't make you rich overnight, but it stops you from playing the wrong game forever. Money is not about working harder inside the system. It's about slowly moving toward positions that benefit from how the system already works. Ownership over time, leverage over effort, multiplication over accumulation. This doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow or taking reckless risks. It means seeing reality clearly before making your next move. Most people never reach this point because no one explains it calmly, without hype, without selling dreams. The system relies on silence. Once the silence breaks, the spell weakens. You begin to notice patterns. You notice who benefits from rules and who pays for them. You notice why some advice is repeated endlessly while other truths are ignored. This video is not here to give you shortcuts. It's here to give you clarity. And clarity is dangerous to systems built on confusion. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how people slowly escape this trap, not through motivation, but through alignment, through understanding incentives, through positioning themselves differently over time. Because the moment you stop fighting the system and start understanding it, everything changes. Once you see the system clearly, the next mistake people make is trying to escape it too fast. They jump from awareness to action without understanding direction. That's how people get trapped again, just in a different form. The goal is not to fight the system. The goal is to stop being crushed by it while learning how it actually rewards behavior. The people who quietly win are not smarter or luckier than everyone else. They simply align themselves with how money flows instead of how effort feels. They understand one core truth early. Income is temporary, but positioning is permanent. A job pays you as long as you show up. Ownership pays you as long as the system runs. And the system always runs. This is why time is the most expensive currency you have. Every hour you trade only once. When you sell time directly, you are capped forever. When you use time to build something that continues without you, you are no longer limited by hours. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens invisibly, slowly, and usually without applause. Most people misunderstand leverage. They think leverage means borrowing money or taking extreme risks. In reality, leverage is anything that multiplies your effort. Code is leverage. Media is leverage. Capital is leverage. Systems are leverage. Even knowledge can be leverage if applied in the right environment. The system rewards people who build or control these multipliers. One video can be watched by millions. One product can be sold thousands of times without extra effort. One system can generate income repeatedly. Meanwhile, the worker must show up again tomorrow to restart the same loop. The difference is not effort, it's architecture. Another uncomfortable truth is that patience beats intensity. The system is designed to exhaust people emotionally so they chase fast results. But fast results usually come with high risk and low control. Quiet compounding looks boring, but it's almost unstoppable. People who win long-term don't look impressive at the start. They look invisible. This is also why comparison is dangerous. Social media shows outcomes without timelines. You see the success but not the years of positioning behind it. The system benefits when you feel behind, because insecurity makes you impulsive. Impulsive people buy promises. Calm people build quietly. The middle-class trap exists because it offers comfort without control. Enough money to survive, not enough freedom to experiment. Enough stability to fear losing it. The system loves this zone because people here work the hardest to protect what they have, even if it's slowly shrinking. Fear becomes the leash. Breaking out doesn't mean rejecting stability. It means using stability strategically. using predictable income to buy time, learn systems, and slowly move toward ownership. Most people either stay fully trapped or gamble recklessly. Very few take the quiet middle path of calculated transition. That's where real progress happens. Another thing the system never teaches is optionality. When you have options, you have power. When you have only one path, you have pressure. Building optionality takes time and looks unproductive at first. But once options exist, decisions become lighter. Fear loses control. Money psychology matters more than money math. If you feel desperate, you will make desperate choices. If you feel patient, you will spot opportunities others ignore. The system constantly tries to rush you emotionally while moving slowly structurally. Recognizing this mismatch gives you an edge. This is why awareness alone already separates you from the majority. You stop blaming yourself for not fitting into a model that was never designed for freedom. You stop chasing validation through consumption. You start questioning incentives instead of outcomes. Nothing changes instantly after this realization. But everything changes gradually. You begin to notice where your time goes. You question where value is created. You become selective instead of reactive. And slowly, almost quietly, your relationship with money shifts from survival to strategy. The system doesn't collapse when you understand it. It continues exactly as it always has, but now you are no longer blind inside it. You are no longer running on a treadmill thinking you're moving forward. You start choosing direction instead of speed. This channel exists for that reason. Not to promise riches, not to sell shortcuts, but to explain reality without noise. Money is not emotional, even though it controls emotions. It is structural, logical, predictable. Once you understand the logic, the chaos fades. And the biggest irony is this: the system doesn't fear poor people. It fears aware people, because awareness leads to alignment. Alignment leads to leverage, and leverage breaks dependency. If you stay long enough, if you learn slowly, if you stop rushing outcomes and start building position, the system that once felt impossible begins to feel navigable. Not easy, not fair, but understandable. And once something is understandable, it stops being scary.